believe you. I gave you barbecue.
It's supposed to be only you.
What's going
Disinfectant
on?
for grab
I heard,
ice.
no, wait a minute. I heard they got you on the side.
The final press conference for Shakur Stevenson versus Teofimo Lopez nearly descended into chaos as tensions reached a boiling point between the two fighters. Stevenson has been particularly vocal in dismissing Lopez as someone putting on a performance to mask his own insecurities. The challenger sees right through what he considers theatrical displays of confidence, believing Lopez is desperately trying to manufacture a tough guy image that doesn't align with reality. According to Stevenson, his opponent has never actually broken anyone's spirit in the ring, despite all the talk about mental warfare. He reminds everyone that fighters like Steve Claggett, George Kambosos, and Vasily Lomachenko all went the distance with Lopez without quitting, which undermines the narrative that he possesses some special ability to crush opponents psychologically.
I think he's nervous and he's giving off energy as if he's trying to dilute his brain into believing things that are basically not going to happen. I just don't understand how he can dilute his brain into believing that when he didn't make Steve Claggett, that's his name, Steve Claggett, quit. He didn't make him quit. He didn't make George Kambosos quit. He did not make Lomachenko quit. So what in the world makes him think that he's going to make me quit?
When examining Lopez's punching power, Stevenson sees a fighter whose knockout ratio tells a misleading story. He points out that recent performances have been devoid of stoppages, with those early career knockouts coming against opponents who weren't operating at championship level. The implication is clear: Lopez hasn't shown he can hurt elite competition, and Stevenson has no intention of being the exception to that pattern. Even Lopez's supposed expertise against southpaw fighters gets questioned by Stevenson, who references difficult nights against Sandor Martin and Jermaine Ortiz as evidence that this reputation exceeds reality. These struggles revealed vulnerabilities that Stevenson believes he can capitalize on with greater effectiveness than Martin demonstrated.
Some good performances against southpaws, and he's had two questionable performances against southpaws. What do you feel like he struggles against southpaws because he beat two very good ones?
I mean, it's hard to say. It's hard to say. They say he beat two very good southpaws. I don't want to take credit away from him. He did what he's supposed to do. But I do know with Josh Taylor, he was dying at the weight class. He was dying at 140 pounds. He was too big for that weight. Like, he shouldn't have been fighting. So I can't say he beat the best versions of them guys. I'm not taking none away from him. Teo's a tremendous fighter. But I don't look at that and be like, oh, that was amazing. Like, it was a great performance. He did what he was supposed to do with what was presented in front of him.
Stevenson carries himself like someone who has reached the pinnacle of his abilities at exactly the right moment. He speaks about being in his absolute prime and having crafted a version of himself during this 12-week training camp that won't fall victim to intimidation. Where other fighters might have wilted under Lopez's mind games and aggressive posturing, Stevenson believes his mental preparation has immunized him against those tactics. He sees this fight as an opportunity to expose Lopez in front of the world and prove once and for all who deserves to be considered the superior fighter.
What would it mean for you and your legacy to do what you know you're going to do on Saturday?
It means everything. I trained really hard for this moment. Blood, sweat, tears is all on this, and I had a hard training camp, 12 weeks, and I'm just ready to show who I am.
Lopez, meanwhile, has rejected any notion of friendship or mutual respect between them. When Stevenson attempted friendly exchanges during fight week, Lopez interpreted these gestures as calculated manipulation designed to make him drop his guard. He refuses to buy into any false camaraderie, maintaining that they are adversaries with nothing in common beyond their scheduled date in the ring. The champion draws a sharp distinction between Stevenson and the caliber of opponent he faced in Lomachenko. Lopez holds the Ukrainian legend in much higher regard, viewing him as a complete fighter with a world-class resume that dwarfs anything Stevenson has accomplished. This comparison serves to diminish Stevenson in Lopez's eyes, positioning him as a step down from the elite competition the champion has already conquered.
My career is at stake. Not the fight. My career. Far different, guys. Way different. That's a different type of ball game. But I wouldn't be in this position if God Almighty didn't believe I could do it.
Why do you feel your career is at stake? Being that you're 28 and...
Nah, it's just what it is. Just what it is, B. Just what it is.
Lopez also frames the stakes of this contest differently for each man. He argues that Stevenson enjoys a safety net as the current lightweight title holder, meaning defeat would simply send him back to a division where he already reigns. For Lopez, however, everything is on the line. He sees his entire career trajectory hanging in the balance, which fuels a level of desperation and determination he doesn't believe Stevenson can match. His preparation has involved shutting out distractions and channeling every ounce of focus toward this singular goal. Lopez speaks about locking away everything else in his life to prioritize the fight, embracing a level of commitment that he feels sets him apart. He plans to lean on the mental toughness developed through years of high-pressure situations and the technical knowledge accumulated from fighting the best. Lopez warns that if Stevenson chooses to engage and bring the fight, the result will be explosive and violent.
And how do you think he's going to, without giving away your game plan, how do you feel like he's going to approach you?
I don't know. I think that with Shakur Stevenson, you know, his fight with Cepeda, this was a good run for him to get to this point right now. And I think that's just why we're at this pinnacle in the Ring 6 and why it's all happening now. So, but seeing him stylistically in that fight doesn't mean that he's going to carry that every time.
Right.
If he does, we're ready. And if he doesn't, we're also ready for that too. Knowing Shakur, he might mix it up.
And
in both ways, stylistically.
Mm-hmm. And if he does that?
And if he does that, then grab your popcorn early. You know, get your popcorn early, get your beer early, and you know, sit down and don't blink.
The expert opinions surrounding this matchup reveal just how difficult it is to predict. Paulie Malignaggi, whose analytical credibility comes from his own successful career as a two-division champion, admits to favoring Stevenson slightly while acknowledging the danger Lopez presents when backed into a corner. Malignaggi has observed an interesting trend throughout Lopez's career where he performs best when doubted and worst when favored. History shows Lopez rising to the occasion against elite opposition precisely when people wrote him off, delivering brilliant performances that shocked skeptics. Yet when expectations run high and he enters as the favorite, Lopez has sometimes looked unfocused and failed to dominate as predicted.
You want to give Shakur the edge, I do, but Teo is not something to play with because when he's got his back to the wall, he becomes the most difficult guy to deal with, you know? And he's got his best performances when people count him out. And then when people feel like he's going to win easily, he's got his worst performances. So this is one of those times where Teo could make it really, really interesting. Shakur for me is a possible pound for pound #1 at one time. But if there's a guy who could be a threat to him, it is Teo because Teo has that little bit of difference-making ability.
Is it a 60-40 fight? Is it still close?
I mean, it's probably 60-40, maybe even higher, but that's a live 30 and 40 by Teofimo because, again, the way he shows up is very, very difficult and tricky.
But it's very rare for fighters to fight in their prime nowadays. They're both, 28 years old. They're fighting in their prime.
Yeah.
You got to give a lot of respect to both of them, right?
Yeah, you do. And that's the problem. You don't see a lot of fights happening in the guys' primes. They milk the money and stuff like that. That's why I give these two guys credit.
Roy Jones Jr. brings the perspective of a legendary 4-division champion when he suggests Lopez must take significant risks to pull off the upset. Jones believes trying to outbox Stevenson from range represents a path to certain defeat given the challenger's polished technique, lightning-fast hands, and defensive mastery. Instead, Lopez needs to demonstrate a willingness to gamble by getting involved in exchanges, absorbing punches while landing his own power shots. The fight will ultimately come down to which man wants it more and proves willing to pay the physical price required for victory.
Stylistically, man, how does Shakur beat Teo and vice versa? Stylistically, how does Teo beat Shakur?
Stylistically, Teo got to go in and go for broke. He got to go gamble. He got to take some, get some, and that's his only way to win. If he stays outside of boxes, Shakur gonna pick him apart. Shakur's a polished boxer with some of the best feet in the game right now, and he's a defensive-minded fighter, which is very smart. It's hard to hit him. He makes you gamble to hit him, and he's gonna be a tough one to deal with. But if Teofimo is willing to gamble to beat him,
Oscar Valdez offers insight from personal experience after suffering a thorough beating at Stevenson's hands back in 2022. Many observers believed Valdez could hand Stevenson his first loss, but instead, he absorbed a 6th-round knockdown and lost every round on the scorecards. That painful lesson taught Valdez about the unique frustration Stevenson creates for opponents, and he warns Lopez about letting that frustration dictate his actions. Valdez stresses the absolute necessity of committing to whatever game plan the corner develops and executing it with complete discipline for all 12 rounds.
if we go off paper, I would say Shakur Stevenson, but I would hate to say that because I can see Teofimo Lopez doing the opposite. And then it's going to be like, I thought, Oscar Valdez thought Shakur was going to win and Teofimo won. He was like, no. I think Teofimo Lopez, it's a 50-50 fight in my opinion. Because, Teofimo's been proving it before. And I gotta emphasize this, if someone can pull it off, it's definitely Teofimo Lopez. If Teofimo Lopez doesn't do it, I don't see who's gonna beat Shakur Stevenson. I don't see another fighter who will beat him. I know I said Pitbull, I think because I gave Pitbull came with some problems, but I wouldn't see no one else beating him unless Shakur Stevenson goes to 147, and then he's obligated to have some competition with I don't know, Ben Connor and all the other welterweights who are doing it.
Keyshawn Davis, who fights on the undercard against Ortiz, expects Stevenson to handle Lopez with relative ease. Davis points to Stevenson's exceptional ring intelligence as the decisive factor, describing a mental sharpness and tactical awareness that operates beyond what most fighters possess. He believes Stevenson's preparation for this opportunity will overwhelm Lopez, with the challenger having studied every aspect of the champion's game and developed specific counters. Davis suggests Stevenson's boxing IQ allows him to stay multiple steps ahead, anticipating moves before they happen and positioning himself to neutralize threats.
I feel like Shakur's gonna beat him fairly easy. I'm not gonna lie to you. Tio know exactly who he's facing. And I just feel like Shakur is just so focused, so locked in. But not only that, I just feel like his IQ is just on a whole nother level. Shakur IQ is crazy, for real. And he's gonna show that, January 31st, he's gonna show that he levels ahead of Teofimo, for sure.
And you're a person that really can speak to the acumen of Shakur Stevenson because you guys have been training together since you've been youngsters. A bit of a prodigy, he's always been. Talk to us about that level of special to the level of special that we're seeing now from Shakur Stevenson.
Man, Shakur always in the gym, number one. He's always working, like for real. Me and Shakur talk about this sport all the time, and he always say how much he loves this sport. And I'm like, shit, I wish I loved this sport how much you loved it, because shit, I don't really give a damn. Like, I just like fighting for real. But Shakur really loves boxing. Like, he really loves boxing, you know what I'm saying? So, like, Shakur, like, he remind me of, like, Muhammad Ali. Like, you gotta kill Shakur for him to lose in that ring. Dead ass serious. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, Shakur just loves this sport so much for him to even come close to anybody. You know what I'm saying? And, again, y'all gonna see this shit January 31st.
Just a different level of dedication from Shakur Stevenson all the way around, huh?
Yeah, for sure. He's different, bro, and I'm glad I got the chance to even watch him. Like, I'm blessed to be around him, just to see just the work ethic that he had since he was a kid up until now. He still has it. You know what I'm saying? So it's just a blessing for me just to be around and see it.
Antonio Tarver provides a more nuanced take, acknowledging that Lopez's best chance requires embracing his gambling instincts and fearless approach. Tarver notes that Lopez doesn't follow a rigid stylistic blueprint, instead adapting based on what each moment demands. This unpredictability combined with genuine courage could theoretically create difficulties even for someone as skilled as Stevenson. Tarver identifies Lopez's footwork as a potential weapon for getting past Stevenson's jab and creating inside opportunities. The champion's willingness to engage in exchanges might manufacture moments of success throughout the fight. However, Tarver doubts Lopez can win a decision, suggesting he would likely need a stoppage to leave with the victory.
I think that's the only chance he got, is to really be his ultra self, doing all the things that makes him Teofimo Lopez. The footwork could be a major advantage for him. Being able to get inside. A lot of times he fights free. He don't really have a style. He does what it takes. And he's a gutsy fighter. Real gutsy. He's not going to be leery to take chances. He's a gambler in there. You know what I'm saying? So he's a live underdog, I would say. A live underdog.
Claressa Shields, who attended the initial press conference, predicts an extremely competitive fight while ultimately favoring Stevenson. The multi-division champion and undisputed heavyweight title holder praises Lopez's athleticism and experience, but considers Stevenson the superior complete fighter. Shields highlights his diverse skill set, tactical intelligence, ability to generate power, and mental clarity that keeps him ahead of opponents. She believes whatever strategies Lopez and his team devise, Stevenson will have already anticipated anticipated them and prepared specific responses.
My thoughts is that's going to be a very competitive fight. I think that Teo is very athletic. He's very experienced. But Shakur is the man. Shakur is hard to beat. He's skilled. Shakur is skilled. Shakur, man, the dude got power. He can fight any style. He's a thinker. He's 5 steps ahead of you. Whatever you think you're going to do, Shakur 5 steps ahead of you. So I look forward to seeing this fight. I think it's going to be good, but I feel like Shakur is going to come out on top. He's going to win. And hopefully Teo don't have his hands down and he get caught slipping, because Shakur has been showing some power.
Is this like a Ray Leonard, Tommy Hearns type of fight? This is this era's Ray Leonard, Tommy Hearns?
We got 2 slick fighters. No.
It's not that.
No, it's like a, I don't know.
Benitez in the Ray
You
Leonard?
want to say like a Pernell Whitaker versus Sugar Ray Leonard type of deal. Like, that's how I look at, like,
Both athletic.
yeah, both athletic, both sharp, both really good on their defense, both just very explosive. Like, it's one of them fights. Like, you talking about Marvin Hagler? He used to come and get you. Like, Shakur can do that. Now you don't know what he's gonna do for this fight. You don't know, but I know he's gonna do whatever he gotta do to win.
Abel Sanchez, the legendary trainer who guided Gennady Golovkin, addresses concerns about the fight potentially being boring if both men fight cautiously. He argues the entertainment value depends almost entirely on Lopez's willingness to initiate action and force Stevenson out of his comfort zone. Despite the concerns, Sanchez feels optimistic based on his read of Lopez's personality. He doesn't believe the champion possesses the temperament to coast through 12 rounds defensively. Sanchez thinks Lopez's pride and ambition to achieve superstar status will compel him to take the fight to Stevenson. If Lopez attacks intelligently rather than recklessly, it should force Stevenson to offer more than his jab, potentially creating the high-level skill exchange fans desperately want.
Shakur's a great talent, and Teofimo looked great in his last fight. Of course, he didn't have Shakur in front of him, but I think that for Shakur, he has to keep the fight at his distance. If he does that, I think it's a win for him. Teofimo, he's more, he wants to draw you and he wants to counterpunch. He's gonna have to be a different guy this time. He's gonna have to attack. He's gonna have to be leading the fight, or else it's gonna be a boring fight. I don't think it'll be a boring fight, but if he sits back and waits for Shakur, Shakur's going to wait for him, then it's not going to be exciting. But I think Teofimo will attack. I think Teofimo has to attack. I think Teofimo has to do what Zepeda did, except for Teofimo's a lot more talented than Zepeda was. So I think that, I honestly, I see a draw. I don't know why I see a draw, but I just see them both having great rounds and giving us the kind of fight that I think the public is looking for.
Tim Bradley rounds out the expert analysis through his YouTube platform, ultimately siding with Stevenson despite acknowledging Lopez's physical advantages. The former 2-division champion praises Stevenson's exceptional ability to implement game plans and neutralize opponent strengths through intelligent positioning and defensive responsibility. Bradley characterizes Stevenson as someone who methodically frustrates opponents by eliminating their offensive weapons and controlling each round's rhythm. He expressed particular curiosity about how Lopez handles fighting someone capable of outthinking him in real time, concluding that Stevenson's strategic superiority would prove decisive.
Teo, more so, I would say he's fast, explosive, and got that punching power, to hurt you, he can sting you. Whereas Shakur is more so like, I would say quick thinker. Very decisive fighter, you know what I mean? With his movements, decisive with, all his moves. Everything he does inside the ring, there's always like a purpose to it. He's always in the right position, to avoid a shot or to land a punch as well, And one of the things that I think is going to be a key thing in the fight, if they were to fight, is how laser focused Shakur is, man. Shakur is one of those guys that can stay focused all night, and not fall asleep.
The stage is set for a clash that has divided opinion and generated genuine intrigue across the boxing landscape.